Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we're going to be checking out the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem Turtles in Disguise Party Pack. What is Mutation Station only at Walmart? I guess that's what they're calling their Walmart exclusives, because that's what this is. This is a Walmart exclusive 4-pack that feels like everybody has had for a very long time, but I finally just now found. So I'm sure you guys already have this, but you know what? You don't have a Pixel Dan video of it yet, so you're getting that right now. I've been pretty excited about this one for obvious reasons. This particular pack gives you all 4 turtles, inspired by the looks in the new Mutant Mayhem movie, but paying homage to some classic action figures from the original Playmates toys line, like my boy Space Cadet Raphael, who they're just calling Astronaut RAPH right now. I'm really surprised that they actually called Donnie Spock, like Donnie as Spock, with the Star Trek font and everything, probably because Playmates has a current Star Trek license, so it allowed them to do that. But all of these do pay homage to vintage action figures. Pretty fun stuff. Obviously, the Turtles are well known in action figure form as having wacky variants like this. So this is definitely one of those really fun sets that definitely is pulling at the nostalgic heartstrings of collectors like me. So we got a nice window box there. The back just shows you images of the Turtles as they appear in the movie. Let's rip this thing open. Let's check out these brand new figures. All right, so we've got our new Disguise Turtles outside of the box. Oh, God, look how cool these look. I love them. So if you're not already familiar with the Mutant Mayhem figures, here's the tape measure to show you that these figures all stand just shy of a full 5 inches tall. Very similar to the vintage Ninja Turtles action figures. And of course, speaking of those, as I stated, these are all inspired by some figures from that vintage toy line where we got lots of variants of the main 4 turtles. So even if these here don't actually appear in the Mutant Mayhem movie, I think this is a really fun box set, especially since it pays homage to a toy line that we all love so very much when we were all growing up, and even to this day, right? We all love that vintage Turtles line. So we'll go ahead and start looking at these guys one by one. Let's go ahead and start with our Star Trek version of Donatello. So just go ahead to bring in a little bit of a comparison. Here is our standard Donatello figure standing alongside the Star Trek version. So you can see very similar in scale. In fact, the Star Trek one might stand just a little bit taller, probably because of those boots there. But you can see very similar in design. And this is the one I did find very interesting because it's fully officially licensed for Star Trek, and that's probably because Playmates Toys currently has the Star Trek license again, just like they did back in the 90s when the other versions of the Star Trek Turtles came out. But this is really great. You can see he still has his turtle shell back here, but with it's painted blue because of the blue Spock shirt that he's got there. I love that he's wearing the purple elbow pads and knee pads over his uniform. That's hilarious to me. You can see he does have a piece of equipment that is just strapped over his shoulder. Probably what is a communicator in the original Star Trek series. We got the Star Trek insignia on the shirt as well as on the belt buckle where his letter D would be. And of course, with this new version of Donatello sporting glasses, he's rocking his glasses over his bandana, but has the Vulcan haircut and has the little green Vulcan ears, which is great. He also comes with a phaser that you can place in his left hand. And check that out. With his 3 fingers, he's doing the best he can to say live long and prosper. I think that is pretty fantastic. Now, of course, since these are inspired by the original Ninja Turtles toy line, I think it's very important that we get comparison times all the way through to show them with the vintage figures. I will say, unfortunately, the only Spock Donatello I have from the vintage line is a carded one here, but I still want to go ahead and bring it in and put them side by side just so you can see these 2 figures here together, which is pretty great to see. You can see there's a lot of the same details, like the belt. They do even have a little D on the belt. It's not painted, but it's part of the sculpt on there. You can see it's painted on the vintage one, but very, very similar details. Super fun stuff. I love this. Next up, we've got Beachcomb Mike, which is inspired by the vintage version of this figure, which that one was also one of the sewer spitters figures, meaning that it had an action feature where it would spit water out of his mouth. And on that figure, he did still have this guitar on his back, but the guitar was actually what was filled with water, and it was permanently attached, and you would squeeze the guitar to make the figure spit water. This one handled things a little bit different because it's not a water spitting figure. Instead, you can see there's a little hook there. So the guitar is a plastic accessory that you can hang on his little camera that he's got strapped around him there, or you can actually take it off. Now, it's a pretty big guitar, but we can kind of get him to hold it in his hands here. Just like that. See, we can kind of like fake it wherever he's playing the guitar. Again, it's like a really thick guitar, but there we go. Beachcomb Mike playing his guitar. But I love that. I think that's still fun, the way they made it so that you can hang it on his back, just like the vintage figure. Of course, the camera is also removable if you want to pull it off of the figure there. But he's rocking a lot of those same details as the vintage figure. I love that he's wearing sunglasses, but there's no lenses in there, so you can see his eyes. He's got the straw hat on. Now, these glasses and the hat permanently attached to the figure, so they're non-removable. You won't have to worry about losing those, which is good. I guess it is important to mention that the articulation on these guys is exactly what you would expect from the other figures in this line. So we still have the ball joints at the head, the arms still move forwards and backwards, swivel at the elbow, bend at the elbow, swivels at the wrist. Got those hinge joints at the thighs so legs can go forwards and backwards. Outwards there, bend at the knee, swivel at the knee, and swivel at the ankles, which, by the way, check out those sweet sandals that he's rocking there. Love the Hawaiian shirt. Seriously, really fun look for Michelangelo. It's fun to see this one kind of brought back, and once again, it's comparison time! So here is the vintage Beachcomb Michelangelo. This is what I was talking about with the squishy guitar there for the spitting action feature. You can see it would come out of this little hole in his mouth there. Of course, some differences. You can see he does still have the camera strapped around him on the vintage one, but it's just part of the sculpt there. He actually has lenses and the sunglasses on the vintage one. But you know, a lot of the charm of that original one is still here in the new one. I think this is a very fun new figure that homages that vintage. So here we have Crazy Cowboy Leonardo, which is a very cool looking figure, I will say. He's rocking the cowboy hat. I love the vest and the handkerchief around his neck. Very shiny silver on the badge and the belt buckle, fancy cowboy belt buckle with the Leonardo L on there. He also does have holsters where he's got these little blue pistols that are removable. I also love the red tips on there. I mean, you know, just to show that they're like toy guns. I don't know. I think that's just a really fun detail and perfect since these are just supposed to be the turtles like dressing up, right? I think that is really cool. In addition to those pistols, which, by the way, reiterating, can be holstered. I love that. But he also has this larger rifle that's got a bang flag on it, which is also quite hilarious. He's got his chaps there, and he's even got steel-toed boots with the little spurs on the back. Now, fun-looking figure, but the interesting thing about this is that he is inspired by Crazy Cowboy Donatello in the vintage toy line, which is kind of baffling to me. So looking at these two side by side, you can see all those same kind of details are there. They even have very similar chaps that they're wearing. They're wearing black vests, red handkerchiefs. I always loved the little candy cane sticking out of Donatello's mouth. Kind of like his cigarette. I don't know. I think that's pretty funny. Maybe inappropriate, but I think it's funny. You know, so it's really weird to me that they chose to do a vintage Donatello variant for this version of Leonardo. I mean, there are so many Leonardo variants they could have chose from to update, right? Like this one. Or maybe this one, who can't stand up. Or what about this one? Yeah, everybody loves Troll Donatello. Okay, but seriously, why not this one? Why didn't we get an update to Sewer Samurai Leonardo, who is arguably the most famous of the vintage Leonardo variants? That's a real question that I have. It's kind of baffling that they went with Crazy Cowboy for Leonardo here. And finally, that is going to bring me to my favorite of the bunch, and that is because he is inspired by my favorite vintage Raphael variant, Space Cadet Raphael. And this is such a fun recreation of that vintage action figure. In fact, let's just go ahead and bring the vintage one in and stand them side by side so you can see exactly what they did here. Come on, guys. I said stand, not lay down. There we go. Stand side by side. So look, we got vintage one over here on the left, of course. The new one on the right, you can see they have very similar swords. The new one is way smaller, but you know, styled the same. Same with the little ray gun there. One of the differences is that on the vintage one, there was a yellow tube that attached to the suit and went to the gun. On this one, the yellow tube attaches to the oxygen tank on the back, which actually probably makes a lot more sense. But there's some great details. Like you can see they even made a very similar sticker to the front of the spacesuit there. We still have the little green alien buddy hitching a ride on the back, which is a lot of fun. And just like on the vintage version here, you can still remove the little dome helmet there. And you've got Raphael's head underneath, which is articulated. I love this. I think this is such a fun homage. I love seeing like a new version of one of my all-time favorite Ninja Turtle variants. So there you go, my friends. That is a look at the brand new Mutant Mayhem Disguise 4-pack exclusive to Walmart stores. This video was essentially just a big old comparison time, but come on, that's exactly what this set is. This set was made for us 30 and 40-year-olds who are nostalgic for the vintage toy line, and I think they pulled it off. I think this is a really fun set. It's the perfect kind of exclusive, and the good news is that it seems really easy to get a hold of. These are pretty well stocked at Walmart's, and the price is only $30. So 4 figures for 30 bucks this day and age, that is a steal. So highly recommended if you are a fan of the original toy line like me. Thank you guys so very much for watching this video, and until next time.